Hey all. So we're doing the song Common People by Pulp. Pulp was a band part of the Britpop explosion along with Oasis and Blur and bands like that. They're pretty popular for a while, and Common People is a terrific song. The reason we picked it today is it's a three-chord song. And when you're doing three-chord songs, one of the things you have to deal with sometimes is how it can get monotonous, right? Particularly if you're playing the same strumming thing throughout the whole thing. So how do you deal with that? So we're using Common People as an example, and we're going to throw around a couple ideas of ways you can make Common People or any three-chord song just a little bit more interesting in your playing. Let's kick it off with a couple of the basics. We start off with our capo on the 3rd fret, and the chords we're going to be using are an A, an E, and a D. That's basically it throughout the entire song. One note of warning is the song does use a British slang expression for cigarettes, and we don't use that word here in the US, so just fair warning, it is in the lyrics. I don't sing it, I usually try to come up with something else. So one way to approach a song, and I've seen this a lot on covers, is just to kind of strum it out, right? She came from Greece, she had a thirst for knowledge. She studied sculpture in St. Martin's College, that's where I caught her eye. Yep, that sounds fine. Down, down, up, and you can strum that throughout the entire song. I don't personally go for that because I think the song just has a different level of urgency than making it a strummy thing. Again, if that's what you want to do, knock yourself out. So if we start with the A, and if you listen to the original Pulp version, or even Joe Jackson's cover, which is fantastic, it has that kind of 8th note sound to it. And the way I'm playing it is I'm just really kind of focusing more on the lower strings to make that deeper sound. Right? So she came from Greece, she had a thirst for knowledge. She studied sculpture in St. Martin's College, that's where I caught her eye. Yep, so like that. And it also kind of emulates the Pulp version when you're just doing those 8th notes. The next part of the first verse, let's just add something to that, right? And I'm going to actually start just playing this with my thumb because my pick, I think, is just a little too loud just for the video. So what we can do also is we have the A, but we can add, we can sustain it. Maybe do an A sus4, still an A, put an A sus4. I think that sounds kind of cool in the song. And on the E, we can keep an E. We could also do an E sus4 or an E7. I'm going to say I tend to do both, but I lean more towards doing the E7 when I play it. Let's see which one I choose, all right? So the second part of the first verse. She told me that her dad was loaded. I said, in that case, I'll have a rum and Coca-Cola. She said, fine. And in 30 seconds time, she said, right? So that's just another way of doing it. You can rock back and forth with an A sus4 or the E, E7, or sustain the E, anything you like. But I think just moving that chord a bit back and forth gives the song a little bit more motion, especially as the verses are picking up. Then we get to the chorus, or the song doesn't really have a traditional verse-chorus bridge. So this part, I'm calling the chorus because it starts with a D, and it's the I want to live like common people section. And here, actually, I do get a little strummy because I think it's a little bit more melodic in this part. And not only do I play the D, but I sustain it and add like a D sus4. So let's give that a play, right? I want to live like common people. I want to do whatever common people do. I want to sleep with common people. I want to sleep with common people like you. Well, what else could I do? I said, I'll see what I could do. Right? That's how I handle that. And I think the way I attack it too is whenever I get to an E, I go back to the just down eighth notes again. I kind of like the way that sounds. So not only are we changing the strums and the strum pattern by verse and chorus, but also within the chorus and by the chord itself, what we're choosing to do, right? Then we get to the next verse. I took her to a supermarket. This is actually lyrically one of the greatest verses ever. When you want to live like common people, where do you go? You go to a supermarket. So on this one, I go back to the eighth notes, but then at the end of each phrase, I may make it a little bit more strummy. Again, now I'm just making a little bit different each time. So I took her to a supermarket. I don't know why, but I had to start somewhere. I started there. Started there. I said, pretend you got the money. She just laughed, said, you're so funny. I said, I don't see anyone else smiling here. Right? So yeah, kind of missed a chord there in the middle, but I think you kind of get the idea of it. In verse 2, it's now a combination on the A chord of both the eighth notes and a bit of a strum to make it a little bit different. Then we get to the next section, which we'll call another chorus, just because it starts with a D. It's the, are you sure you want to live with common people? So this one, again, I'm going to just go back to, I just combine both the eighth notes and a strum, because I think this chorus is a little bit more urgent than the previous one. So something like that, I just combine them both. The next section of the song, I'm calling it the bridge. I don't know if it's really a bridge, but it's the rent a flat above a shop, cut your hair and get a job section. And this is also a section that uses that British slang that I'm not going to sing, that part. So this section probably really ramps up the power of the song. And because of that, I want to do something that just follows that ramps up the power here, right? So nothing like a good, strong down strum for that. So that's what I'm probably going to do, and maybe just a little strum to fill it in. And I love this section. This is where the narrator is telling his rich friend that these are all the things you need to do to be a common person. But at the end of the day, you're never going to be a common person because you're rich. Okay? So, rent a flat above a shop, cut your hair and get a job, smoke some and play some pool, pretend you never went to school, still you never get it right, because when you're lying in bed at night, watching roaches climb the wall, if you call your dad, he could stop it all, yeah. Right? Okie dokie, we are at the final chorus, and starts off with the D, the final chorus, and then probably the outro. So we can do the same stuff here. We can play a D, sustain it, D sus4, A sus4, E sus4 or E7, whatever we'd like to do. So I go back to, I think I make this a little strummy. I tend to really hit the down strums more, and maybe too much. I got to watch that. But that's kind of what I do. So I'll make a strummy with stronger down strums. You'll never live like common people. You'll never do what common people do. You'll never fail like common people. You'll never watch your life slide out of you. Dance, drink, cause there's nothing else to do. Sing along to the common people. Sing along, it might just get you through. Laugh along with the common people. Laugh along, know they're laughing at you. And the stupid things you do, cause you think that poor is cool. And then you can just wind it up like that. Really cool song. I would recommend just practicing it. Try lots of different things when you're playing it on your strum and your dynamics. And just think about this for lots of other 3-chord songs, like ways you want to dress it up. You don't always need to do it. Sometimes simple is best, but it is a cool song, and I hope you try it, and I hope you enjoy it. Just a last note on the song. So if you've read the lyrics, you know it's about a guy who's poor, and he meets a rich woman who wants to go slumming and find out what it's like to be poor, right? One of the things that's just a challenge about the song is, as a guitarist, and if you're singing the song, is who are you in this song? Are you the poor person who's the narrator, or are you the rich ingenue, right? Which one are you? And I'd have to say, one of the greatest covers I ever saw live was when this guy reversed it, and he sang it from the view of the rich person, and he was talking about how he met, somebody, a common person in the bar, and it was really cool. I thought it was incredibly insightful to flip the song around like that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful, and have a great time playing the song.